Here is now another from the latest release of hacked emails from WikiLeaks. Hillary Clinton from August of 2014 claiming two U.S. allies, Saudi Arabia and Qatar, were funding and supporting ISIS. Quote, saying in part to an email to President Obama's then counsel John Podesta, "We need to use our diplomatic and more traditional intelligence assets to bring pressure on the governments of Qatar and Saudi Arabia, which are providing clandestine financial and logistics support to ISIL and other radical Sunni groups in the region," end quote. That's a mouthful, and that is important. John Bolton, former U.S. ambassador to the UN, senior fellow American Enterprise Institute, and a Fox News contributor. When you hear that, what do we have to understand about the context of that comment, sir?
Well, I think it's particularly important that Hillary Clinton says that the governments of these two countries are funding ISIS. Were the governments funding other radical Sunni groups in the region? Absolutely, and Hillary Clinton should know that very well because they included funding of radical groups in Libya before and after the overthrow of Gaddafi that contributed to the destabilization there, ultimately leading to the tragedy in Benghazi on September the 11th, 2012. The idea that the governments of Saudi Arabia and Qatar were actually funding ISIS, I'd like to hear what her evidence is for that, which she may or may not have heard when she was Secretary of State. You know, there may be members of the royal families of a lot of the oil-producing monarchies funding disreputable groups, including ISIS. There are individuals in the United States who are helping ISIS. But the governments themselves is a very dramatic charge. We need to hear what the evidence is.
Is there evidence that if that happened, that she said something about it publicly?
Well, I wonder what was going on when she was Secretary of State. This was an email sent to the administration after she left. Because the Obama administration has hardly said anything like that either. So it's a pretty significant fact. If this is what she really thinks is going on in the Middle East, we need to hear more about it because it tells us something about where she's getting her information. Is this from U.S. intelligence? Is she hearing this from somebody else?